So, hi everyone, I am Junior C, and we are the group 6, and our topic is Arabian literature. Overview of the Arabic literature. The first significant Arabic literature was produced during the medieval golden age of lyric poetry, from the 4th to 7th century. The poems are strongly personal qasida or odes, often very short, with some longer than 100 lines. They treat the life of the tribe and themes of love, fighting, courage, and the chase. Second, the Arabic language has been around for well over 1,000 years. It is believed to have originated in the Arabian Peninsula. It is the source of many ideas, allusions, and quotes, and its moral messages inform many works. It was first spoken by nomadic tribes in the northwestern frontier of the peninsula. Aside from the Quran, the hadith or tradition of what Muhammad is supposed to have said and done are important literature. The holy city of Makkah is the place where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born, the place where God's message was first revealed to him, and the city to which he returned after migration to Medina in 622 CE. Makkah is the holiest city on earth to Muslims. It is variously known as Makkah al-Mukarramah. 5 times each day, the world's more than 1 billion Muslims, wherever they may be, turn to the holy city of Makkah to pray. According to Arab beliefs, Adam was buried in Mecca, while Eve was buried in Nervi, Jeddah. The major religion variously teach that they are buried in Hebron in the cave of the Patriarch, or on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Up until Muhammad's time, the Arabian Peninsula was polyglot place where many religions held influence, including animism, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, and early Christianity. Medina is the second holiest city of Islam. The Prophet Muhammad migrated to Medina from Mecca and taught there for some years before his triumphant return to Mecca. The city is commonly visited as part of the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage. The Prophet built the first state or government in this city. The earliest history of Medina is obscure, though it is known that there were Jewish settlers there in pre-Christian times, but the main influx of the Jews would seem to have taken place as the result of their expulsion from Palestine by the Roman Emperor Hadrian about 135 Common Era. It is probable that the Arab tribes of Aus and Khazraj were then in occupation of the oasis, but the Jews were the dominant factor in the population and development of the area by 400 Common Era. In that year, Abu Karib As'ad, the Sabian king of Yemen, visited the colony and imbibed the lore and teaching of the Jewish rabbis, with the result that he adopted the religion of the Jews and made it the state device. The main focus of this literary criticism in Arabic literature often focus on religious texts and the several long religious tradition of hermeneutics and textual exegesis have had a profound influence on the study of secular texts. This was particularly the case for the literary tradition of Islamic literature.
Pre-Islamic literature is the structures of the Arabic language is well suited to harmonious word pattern with their elaborate rhymes and rhythms. Their earliest known literature emerged in northern Asia around 580 and took the form of poetry, which is recited aloud, memorized, and handed down from one generation to another. It began to be written downwards to the end of the 7th century. The most celebrated poems of the pre-Islamic period were known as muwallakat, or the suspended, because they were considered sufficiently outstanding to be hung on the wall of the Kaaba in Makkah. Let's move on to the structures of Arabic literature. We will discuss what are the kind of the Arabic language. Arabic is usually ranked among the top 6 of the world's major languages. As the language of the Quran, the holy book of Islam, it is also widely used throughout the Muslim world. It belongs to the Semitic group of languages, which also includes Hebrew and Amharic, the main language of Ethiopia. There are 3 Arabic dialects: the Classical Arabic, the Modern Standard Arabic, and the local dialect. First, the Classical Arabic, the language of the Quran, was originally the dialect of Mecca in what is now the Saudi Arabia. An adapted form of this, known as the Modern Standard Arabic, is used in books, newspapers, or in televisions and radio, into the mosques, and into the conversation between our educated Arabs from different countries, for example, the international conferences. The last is the local dialects, vary considerably, and a Moroccan might have difficulty understanding an Iraqi even though they speak the same language. Arabic is not the only language spoken in Arab countries. The 2 main minority languages, several varieties of Amazigh, are used by the Berbers of North Africa, while Kurdish is spoken in the parts of Iraq and Syria. The last one that I will discuss is about Arabic alphabet. Let's talk about the Arabic alphabet. Arabic is written from the right to left. There are 18 distinct letter shapes, which vary slightly depending on whether they are connected to another letter before or after them. There are no capital letters. Yes, Arabic letters are no capital letters. So the full alphabet of 28 letters is created by placing various combinations of the dots above or below of some of these shapes. An animated version of the alphabet shows the correct way to move the pen. Although the Arabic alphabet, as we know it today, appears highly distinctive, the Latin, Greek, Phoenicians, Aramaic, Nabatian alphabets probably share some common ancestry. Other languages such as Persian, Urdu, and Malay use adaptations of the Arabic script. That's all. And the invention of paper in Arabic literature will discuss by the next presenter. Thank you.
So hi everyone, I'm Angel Mayduka, and I'm going to talk about the invention of paper. So paper was introduced to the Arab world long before it became available in Europe, and this panel accounts for the early development of Arabic literature. Parchment of papyrus was generally used until the 8th century of the first Chinese paper was imported into Iraq, probably along the Silk Route via Samarkand shortly afterwards. The first paper mill was established, parchment and papyrus in the Arab world. So the Muslim conquest of Spain brought paper making into Europe. The English word meaning 500 sheets is derived through Spanish and French from the Arabic rizma or the bundle. So there were three periods of a written Arabic literature. So first, the Umayyad period. So Umayyad Dynasty, it was founded by Muawiyah I, who triumphed over the Prophet Umayyad's son-in-law, Ali, to become the fifth caliph. He moved the capital from the Medina to Damascus and used the Syrian army to extend the Arab Empire. The Umayyads' greatest period was under Abd al-Malik, when their empire extended from Spain to Central Asia and India. Their decline began with a defeat by the Byzantine Empire in 717. Financial reforms eventually lead to their unseating by the Abbasid Dynasty. So the Umayyads were the first dynasty to take over the institutes of caliphate, transforming it into an inheritable title. They were responsible for bringing centralization and stability to the realm, and they also continued the swift military expansion of the empire. So the Umayyads continued the Muslim conquest, incorporating the Transania, Sindh, and the Maghreb and Iberian Peninsula. Under Islamic rule, at its greatest extent, the Umayyad Caliphate covered 4,300,000 square meters, making it one of the largest empires in the history in the terms of area. So the main achievements of the Abdul al-Malik an Umayyad, born in Mecca and raised in the Medina, the two most holy sites of Islam, the fifth caliph, Abd al-Malik Marwan, spearheaded the creation of many of the institutions that centralized the Islamic empire around his capital in Damascus and asserted its independence from Byzantine traditions. So the most significant architectural achievement of the Umayyad Empire was the Great Mosque in Damascus, the Great Mosque in Cordoba. These remarkable architectural and artistic achievements are associated with the Umayyads' first dynasty of the Islamic world. In an extensive program of Arabization, Arabic became the official state language of the empire, was reorganized with Arabs and replacing Persians and Greek officials. And the New Arabic coinage replaced and former imitations of Byzantine and the Sasanian coins. So the Umayyad dynasty lasted less than a century in Damascus before it was driven out in 750 by the Abbasid Dynasty. A remnant of the Umayyad dynasty was resurrected in 756 in Cordoba, Spain, and continued to rule there into the 11th century. So, Abbasid period. Abbasid Caliphate, second of the two great dynasties of the Muslim Empire of the Caliphate, it overthrew the Umayyad Caliphate in 750 and reigned as the Abbasid Caliphate until it was destroyed by the Mongol invasion in 1258. So the Abbasids maintained an unbroken line of caliphs for over 3 centuries, consolidating Islamic rule and cultivating great intellectual and cultural developments in the Middle East of the Golden Age of Islam. So the Abbasid Revolution, also called the movement of the Men of the Black Raiment, was the overthrow of the Umayyad Caliphate, the second of the 4 major caliphate in early Islamic history, by the third, the Abbasid Caliphate. The Abbasid caliphs were Arabs descendant from Abbas al-Muttalib, one of the youngest uncles of Muhammad, and of the same Banu Hashim clan. The Abbasids claimed to be the true successors of Muhammad in replacing the Umayyad descendants of the Banu Umayyad by virtue of their closer bloodline of Muhammad. So the Abbasids built Baghdad from scratch while maintaining the network of the roads and trade routes that Persians had established before the Umayyad Dynasty took over. Baghdad was strategically located between Asia and Europe, which made it a prime spot on overland trade routes between the two continents. So, modern period. Modern Arabic drama began to be written in the 19th century, chiefly in Egypt, and mainly influenced in the imitation of French works. It was not until the 20th century that it began to develop the distinctly Arab flavor and be seen elsewhere. So the tradition of the Arabic literature stretches back some 16 centuries to the unrecorded beginnings in the Arabian Peninsula. At a certain points in the development of European civilization, the literary culture of the Islam and its Arabic medium of expression came to be regarded not only as models for emulation but also through vital conduits such as Moorish Spain and Norman Sicily as direct sources of inspiration for the intellectual communities of Europe. So the Arabic language in its earliest phases was relatively well protected from the forces of rapid changes by the peninsular environment within which it developed. It is the best preserved model of the Semitic languages. So the Arabic literary tradition began within the context of the tribal, nomadic culture with the advent and spread of Islam. The tradition was carried far and wide during the courses of the 7th to 10th century. So by the 10th century, the political fragmentation of the larger Islamic community was evident in the existence of the three separate caliphates, that of the Abbasid in Baghdad and that of the Shiite Fatimids in the Cairo and that of the Umayyads in the Spain. At this time, after having been earlier removed from power in the eastern regions by the advent of the Abbasids. So the nature of the modern in the context of Arabic literary history involves with prophecies first renewed contacts with the Western world, something that was considerably accelerated by the European imperial incursions during the 19th century. And second, a renewed interest in the classical heritage of the Arabic language and Islam. So that would be the end of the Arabic literature. So I hope you have learned something. So thank you.